This virus hitting none of us. This virus hitting none of us. Mama Fugle, Mama Fugle. Mama Fugle, Mama Fugle. Mom firearm hitting all of us. Mom firearm hitting all of us. Mom this virus, mom none of Fugle. Mom this Fugle, this mom none of Fugle. Mama Fugle, Mama 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 Fugle.
What is up, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show somewhere. Tonight, we're going to be giving you all of the updates you'll ever need on the event Crossing the Planet, and of course, we're going to actually be allowed to talk about some of that. So stick around. We're going to be talking about some serious subjects, but also I want to let you guys know about something very special. Uncle Sam is going to be giving you some money, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This hitting none of us. This virus hitting none of us. This virus hitting none of us. This virus hitting none of us. Mom this Fugle, mom none of Fugle. Mom this Fugle, mom none of us.
All right. What is up, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show. The number is actually scrolling down right now at 224400-MARF. Now, I'm going to point out a few things here. You can actually follow along with any of the stories that we have here today on marfooglenews.com. In fact, when you go there, you'll see it is organized by thumbnail. Of course, the thumbnail for tonight is this. So when you see that, all you have to do is click on it, and when you go below, you will actually see all of the articles we're going to be covering. Not only that, tonight is a special episode because we're going to be taking a bunch of calls. We're going to actually see what is really going on around the country. So we encourage anybody and everybody from all over the country, whether you have been hit hard in your state or you have not been hit at all. I would love a call from you at 224400-MARF. Now remember, you can actually follow along with the second device here on our website. You can go back. It's archived. We don't just say something and then say, believe us. We actually back our stuff up with a bibliography, and we do this every day before every show. Now, with that being said here, let's see here. I'm going to get into some stuff, but I am going to do my little disclaimer here first. Make sure you know nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, we have a ton of stuff that has been going around. A lot of people have a lot of misinformation right now, and it's actually not helping. And I guess the one thing I would say is, whose job is it to actually decide what is misinfo, right? So that is actually a big deal now, to decide what is that. Now, hold on one second here. I'm just going to make sure that we have this down. Let's see here. I'm going to open something up. Now, Dex, can we do a sound check real quick? Well, we've got you here.
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Fugle fam.
So obviously there's been a lot going on, and we wanted to make sure that we have some of the most accurate information out there. Wouldn't you say that as far as the articles we have here, they are as accurate as possible?
Oh yeah, there's tons of information out right now, just across some of the what you might consider mainstream sources, a lot of local news, a lot of things that are happening, and especially what's coming out of DC and the actions that the Fed is trying to take to help either stimulate the economy and support folks, and what they're doing to help fight the CV as it's continuing to go across our country.
Now, apparently we're going to be getting some sort of stimulus, which we'll talk about more in detail later. But of course, we're about to get $1,000. Is that right?
Well, there's everybody's got their idea. We've heard from a Republican congressperson who said it needs to be 1,000. Somebody said it should be 2,000. I think T-Man himself said, "Hey, this needs to be a really big deal. We don't want to go out and make something that just works for a few days, and then we have to come back and meet again every week and continuously push money out. He wants to come out with a big package and just lay it on everybody, and hopefully that's enough to satisfy and solve the problem, as opposed to picking at it each few days. So there's a lot of different ideas that are floating around. At the end of the day, I think it will all come together. It's not going to be something they're going to argue much about. So the question is, what will it be and how will it happen?
Okay, so and one of the main things that a lot of people have been talking about is the change in attitude over the last week and a half. Because at first people were not taking this serious. Regardless, even if you're not afraid of the actual event, you are definitely nervous by now. I guarantee you. Even the tough guys that I saw 2, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago at Costco when we first declared our emergency here in our state, they go, "Oh, they're out of everything because of that stupid thing. Everybody's being wussies." Well, the thing is now with all of the actual government restrictions, things are actually changing all around us. So we can no longer basically say, nah. You can do that all you want, but you're going to be by your lonesome self because you are now on lockdown. As far as and by the way, they've been trying to avoid those words, lockdown. They've been using shelter in place. Of course, 6 counties actually did a shelter in place. My sister is in one of those counties by San Mateo. And that basically means you are not allowed to leave unless it's essential. So groceries, gas, doctor's appointment. That's it. Even like orthodontists and braces. I don't know what happens with braces. My daughter has braces. They basically, I called and they're just closed. So I don't know, what if something happens to her braces? I guess, if a prong is just sticking out of her face, then I guess we go to the ER. I don't know. But there's a lot of changes. Now people are understanding this is global. Whatever it is, whatever your theory on it is, that's beside the point. It's actually happening. So that's especially why I wanted to hear from people all around the country. We're going to do rapid fire calls when we do get to them. And I want a 3-minute conversation at most. If you have a long thing that you want to talk about, that would definitely be a tomorrow's show type of thing to call in on. Tonight, I want to hear from a bunch of different states, so I want to get as many people as possible, and I want to see how the different states are affected. If people know someone who is affected by this directly, I know that everybody is. Really, it's going to be everybody. People do not have jobs right now. People are not working. We're like basically doing this as a family. And if you've never seen my show again here, we have our main channel at 152,000 subscribers, or I'm sorry, 153. It just hit over on YouTube. That is Marfoogle News. And then our backup channel, which you're most likely watching if you're on YouTube, which is Marfoogle TV with 109,000. It just hit. And then we, of course, have our DLive community as well. So with that being said, there's a lot of stuff that we have to go through together. Now, myself, my audience, our Discord of over 13,000, we're all going through stuff right now. So in this time, we really need to be calm. We really need to be logical, rational, and organized. Organized is one big thing. I've been seeing a lot of people that are normally people that would never kind of take any kind of restrictions, and they're basically saying, I'll just sit back, trust the plan. And you guys know what that means. I'm not trying to say anything negative or positive about that. All I'm saying is, I would not put, all of your eggs in a basket thinking, hey, we're going to interpret how, Q talked about this stuff and interpret that as, oh, we should just sit back and let it happen. Just saying. I don't know if they said it exactly. I don't follow every post. I've read a lot of them, but I mean, does that really mean like just kind of go with the flow willy-nilly? I don't know. Again, I think that a lot of people understand that T-Man is not the top of the ladder. People say if you talk anything about anything about what's going on right now, you're talking bad about him. I don't think that that's true. I think that, obviously there's the families that actually kind of run the scheme behind the scenes. And we're not even talking about theories. We're just talking about the richest people on the planet. So, what is actually going on here? Is it much worse than they say? We don't know. But what we will say is we're going to give you accurate information and let you judge for yourself, and things that we can actually back up. And then on top of that, we're going to get you guys to call in from all over the country, so we actually know, what's going on in Ohio. In fact, multiple people from Akron said that they were not allowed to take out money from the bank. Now, we wanted to either debunk this or get it out of the way. And I'll just hit this real quick because we got a lot of stuff to go through. So people were freaking out because they said, "Oh, you can only take out 1,500." Somebody, for example, tried to take out 15,000. They said your limit is 1,500. They go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And we're not talking about an ATM. The first thing Dex said is, yeah, well, there's a limit on that through the ATM. I'm like, no, this is with a teller in person. They said, you're going to have to get on this list and we will be able to get it to you on Friday, right? So immediately her sister and then herself both said, this is really weird. Both of them had issues pulling out money, and they said, you're going to have to be on a list. That was at the Huntington Bank there, which is a smaller bank. So we actually made some calls. We wanted to make sure that this was something that wasn't too crazy. And it turns out a lot of them are, but it's because of physical bills. They don't have enough bills. Some of the smaller banks, they don't have the same kind of businesses bringing in cash every single day, so they don't have that money. As far as like Bank of America, Dex, do you want to tell what you kind of heard from Bank of America?
Yeah, absolutely. I called and talked to a representative, and they said that it's up to each branch to determine how much money you would need to order if you needed to place a large withdrawal. But typically, most of the banks, you're not going to have a problem going in and withdrawing from the counter. But if you wanted something like $50,000, you might have to order it just because they want to make sure they have enough cash on hand to do it. They didn't say there was a problem at all. And in fact, the person who was speaking to the representative I was speaking to just before was actually trying to withdraw $50,000. So yes, people are pulling cash out, but it doesn't seem to be a problem with the banks having the money, other than just making sure they have the physical cash to push the money around. And I would imagine that, like you said, a small regional bank may have more problems than, say, a larger bank that's constant. And if you're coming in on a weekend or a Monday right after a weekend, most banks push out a ton of cash on Friday, which is payday, and everybody's cashing checks.
And that's why they most likely have orders. Also, they kind of organize it so before those days, say Bank of America, right? If Target loads up one of those Brinks security cars, those Brinks security cars go in, it's processed on like a Thursday or something, and then it goes back out, and then they're available to give that cash back out. So I just wanted to kind of offer some calm there. But still, I will say this. I thought it was weird going in on a Monday and saying you're going to have to wait 5 days for your own money through a teller, and it's already in your bank and it's there. But that is due to the current event. That is because so many people are pulling out physical bills that there's not, which, by the way, can affect our economy as well. So I guess I really can't say either way. I think that it's your right as a person to be able to pull that out. Other people are like, well, if they pull it out, they're ruining the economy even further. Well, it looks like, as far as like you, that's a personal decision. What if the economy drops anyways, and then your money's stuck inside the bank, or they just say we don't have it or whatever? People think that that's not possible. There have been situations in other countries. We just don't know. We don't know what is going on right now. Obviously, we're not thinking it's going to go there yet. So is it time to pull out your money out of the bank? That's a personal decision, but it should only be a personal decision. Somebody shouldn't be able to, the rules just changed because of this, where normally you could go, well, I want to take all my money out and maybe 1 or 2 days or something, if it's different accounts, 3 days, whatever the normal thing, but 5 days to pull out your own money. That is due to this. They don't physically have it. And that shows you how many people are actually pulling out money.
And I would warn that if you do something like that, you're putting yourself at risk. When you have a lot of cash on hand, you're much more susceptible to others. So I would I would say you should have a little cash, because you should always have some cash in case you need it. But I don't know that you want to take your life savings and put it in a tin can in your backyard or in your basement.
And your
Money might hit you up
general
for it.
rule is that you kind of like have anywhere from 800 to 1,000 over a 6-month period, that you'll just kind of, because you don't use cash that often for an emergency.
Every now and then I need cash, I have it, but it's not something that if we get to a place where our system doesn't work and the cards aren't working and things like that aren't working, we've got bigger problems than those little green pieces of paper.
Exactly. So say in the worst case scenario, if you hand somebody a $100 bill, they're going to go, what do I do with that? There's no stores open. There's no nothing. Well, what am I going to do with that? That's why, some folks, hoard other stuff. They hoard food, supplies, things like that. Because if it was really, truly that bad, those would be the things that we'd be trading, not money, not cash currency. It would essentially be useless if some of the situations happen that they say, are possibilities. Now, it says, White House preparing to call on military to boost CV medical response. That's right. It says the White House is in talks with the Pentagon about how the military can be deployed to deal with the fast-moving CV. U.S. officials said on Tuesday, including setting up field hospitals in states with surges in cases. So field hospitals, just like they did in over there in Chi-Town. So that is a big possibility that could very well happen. Now it says, Pentagon says it will give 5 million respirators, 2,000 ventilators to Health and Human Services for the response. Now, one thing to think about on this, and that's a short title here, is that some people ordered these kind of things and they just never showed up. I tweeted out something and I got a bunch of responses. A lot of people ordered masks and things like this and never got them. And I believe it's because of eminent domain. I believe they've used it before. They've used it just recently with night vision goggle tubes, the actual tubes that make the fancy night vision goggles possible. And they actually used eminent domain, which is basically where the government says, hey, we're the government. We're taking that. In between the distributor and the customer, they say, whoa. Actually, in this case, it was the distributor actually had them go above their head, and they took the tubes from them. And that was one of the things we talked about. We're like, why just a couple months before this were they just, using eminent domain to get night vision goggles? Again, I've talked about this for a while. I don't know what they think, but again, the military plan for all sorts of contingencies, including the one they've talked about for years, which is a power out situation or a grid down situation. As far as this goes, we've had many people say that they ordered masks or they ordered ventilators or they ordered all of these different things, and they did not show up, and they ended up getting an error message from Amazon and then ended up having to go through their system and get a refund. And this is some of them before it really hit popular. So some think that the military has used those abilities to actually go in and snatch some of those. I don't know if that's not part of the Stafford Act. That's part of a different part, right? Or could the Stafford Act technically play a part in that? Do you know, Dex? I was just wondering if they can actually do that. As far as is that something they can just do 24/7?
Yeah, sorry, Adam. I don't know if it is. I'm sorry I'm late. I was on the phone. But yeah, I don't really know if that's part of the Stafford Act itself.
Okay. And if you guys know, you can feel free to call in. Again, tonight is going to be rapid fire calls. And they're going to be 3-minute calls. We're going to ask you where you're from, what is going on there, and if you've been affected by this. So if you are not into a long conversation and you've never called before and this is the time, do it. Again, the number is 2244-00-MARV. And then we have Nunchucks says that T-Man administration is looking to get cash to Americans immediately. Now, this is exactly what we're talking about. The Treasury Secretary, Mnuchin, said Tuesday that the T-Man administration wants to get emergency funds in Americans' pockets immediately amid the CV crisis. Now, one thing I want you guys to think about, and this is something that Dex and I were talking about, is where do you think this cash comes from? Do you think it's just free money? Because essentially they're going to be taking from something and giving it back, or they're taking from taxes or giving it back, or even, who knows, the situation might be where they end up taking that out of your tax return or something else, right? And a lot of people need this. So much so, I went to just call and actually fix something that was on my power bill, and they said, in fact, I think I was just trying to do like a payment arrangement, and then what they said is that they're not shutting off power during this event, period, like at all, in our area. So even if you went way past or went 3 months past, according to them, at least for the next 2 months, they are not going to be turning off the power no matter what. And they actually said, don't do an arrangement. And I said, well, I'll just do the arrangement. I just wanted to get it done and over with. They're like, well, you don't even have to. And I was like, what? They were encouraging me not to set up a payment arrangement, which I thought was weird. So I ended up doing it anyways, but it sounded like they were like, he didn't know why, if I didn't have to pay what I would want to pay. Most likely because I don't want $1,000 bill or something and it just racks up, right? Well, all over the country, things are like this are happening. In other countries, they actually turned off mortgage payments. Different banks and things like this essentially said you don't have to pay your mortgage for the time period, whatever they're setting for, right? Or this month. As far as the $1,000, it's still kind of up in the air. And it says Americans need cash now, Mnuchin said during a White House press briefing on the administration's latest efforts to combat the disease. And it says, quote, I mean now, in the next 2 weeks. The president has instructed me that I have to do this now, Mnuchin added. And it says, markets have shed trillions of dollars amid the CV spread, which has crippled major industries and forced governments around the world to take drastic steps to try to slow the spread of the disease. States and cities have taken sweeping measures to reduce social interaction, including limiting restaurants to delivery and takeout services. Other businesses have had to lay off and furlough employees. So I want to know how you guys have been affected. Like Dex, 2 of his kids don't have a job, or at least not for the time being. My sister, some of my other friends, in fact, my friend, his company is completely shut down, and they actually think because of this that they're going to have to lay off half of their staff, like permanent. So it's not like, oh, once this is over, they come back. Because of the losses that they're taking right now, they're not able to take them back. And they've had to say goodbye to, career people that have been there for 10, 15 years because this has hit them so hard. I even asked myself, I'm like, how do you even set yourself up for that? But a lot of the things, I don't think that, I don't think everybody's going to be okay through this. And that's my feeling. That's just my kind of personal opinion on this. I think that a lot of things are going to hit. I don't think people grasp how big this is, especially if you're in a city that's not hit so hard yet. And I say yet, how hard this is going to hit our economy. Every single event across the globe is shut down. NBA is shut down. MLB is shut down. There's, major sports that are normally billion-dollar industries, they're shut down. Arts, theater, just anything you can name. All sorts of little shops. If you look at the list of things that are actually shut down, it's like, what if you're a tattoo artist? This is just one example that I saw in there, and I'm like, all tattoo shops are. What if you're a bartender, a server, or this, or a server, busboy, whatever? All those positions are completely out. So if you're a tattoo artist, you essentially will not have a single paycheck coming in. So this is very scary stuff, and that's why they're talking about these measures. Now, yesterday, I believe it was 174,000. Now it's actually 183,000. The reason I think it didn't make sense, if any of this is true, why people were comparing this to the flu or comparing it to other stuff, because it's exponential. Yes, it's down here now, But again, car crashes, they don't go up exponentially every year. They might stay the same, or they're based on a percentage. Murders are a certain number. They might go up a little bit, they might flux, but they're not exponential. They don't just keep going up and keep going up and keep going up. Something like this could, if what they are saying is true. Again, for them to shut down the entire planet, it seems to me, and this is just my opinion, is that either the numbers are way off. It's just, again, my opinion. Because people say, oh, well, this is the numbers and this many more people, are die of this. That's if, that's if the numbers are correct, which not a lot of people think that they have all of the stuff out there yet. It's got to be one or the other. And either way, the reality is we are all getting locked down, sheltered in place. So this is some pretty big stuff that we're dealing with now. If you guys have not been to our Discord, we have over 13,000 members, over 400 active and retired military folks in our Discord in a private group. In fact, that group, you have to prove to another veteran of your status, but once you're in, you are in. That is of course, our exclusive military channel. That's where we get a lot of our information. Amazing people in there. And then our creators corner, we have YouTubers, D-livers, Twitchers, all sorts of people in there that are actually essentially asking each other questions, say they don't know how to use Streamlabs. There's somebody to help at all times. That group is becoming very, very awesome. It's growing every day. Over 275 channels with over 1,000 subscribers, which we've personally helped them get there. And then, of course, we have our local state groups. So these are groups that have been preparing for almost a year and a half now since I started them, and they have actually met in person and do meetings every week, bi-weekly, or monthly. Of course, now we're saying just to do Skype stuff until we get this figured out. And then, of course, all of this can be done by going to marfugelnews.com. Extremely easy to do. Check it out. All right, and then let's see here. We've got New Yorkers should be prepared for a shelter-in-place order. By the way, I think everyone should be prepared for this. I mean, it's just common sense. It was very surprising to see Los Angeles or California do this first in those 6 counties. I thought we were going to be first since we were the first hot zone, but apparently not. It says New Yorkers should prepare for, quote, a shelter-in-place order in the coming days as local officials try to contain the fast-moving CV that's spreading throughout the U.S. It says New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said Tuesday, adding that a decision will be made in the next 48 hours. This is huge. New York is 9 million people. To put that in perspective, that's as much in just New York as it is in our entire state. Now, New York, I think, is actually bigger than that. New York City is 9 million people or something like that. So this is a huge number of people. We are all deeply concerned. This is quite clear. This is a fast-growing crisis, he said at a press conference. All New Yorkers, even through a decision has not been made, or even though by the city or the state, I think that all New Yorkers should be prepared right now for the possibility of shelter-in-place order. Now, specifically, the shelter-in-place, we told you a month and a half ago, Ed, Prepper Nurse 1, the guy is incredibly smart. He was telling you this, a month ago. Let's see here. I wanted to show you guys. Ed from Prepper Nurse 1, I think he had a video that was literally a month ago. So let's see here. Oh, I don't want to see sad news. I hate seeing that in a title. If you guys haven't gone over and subscribed to him, Jacob Israel, Red Pill 78, some of my friends, man, you got to go check them out. But yeah, let's see here. And he is in New York. I mean, he was way ahead of everything. All of us that were saying this, people looked at us like we were crazy 2 months ago. Hope you're getting ready. Let's see here. Oh, man, he specifically, I mean, he called it. And this, I wanted to show you this video because, man, oh man, in the video, he called it word for word. It was like he was it was like he was predicting the future. Let's see. It's got shelter in place in the title. If you guys want to look, he's got so many freaking videos. This man is a workaholic. So go over and support him. It's definitely in the last 2 months. I probably passed right over it. So make sure to check it out. And that is Prepreneurs 1. Very, very, very smart gentleman. He's incredibly, incredibly smart. And then we have the U.S. government tech industry discussing ways to harness location data to combat the CV. Kind of creepy if you ask me. It says the U.S. government is in active talks with Facebook, Google, and a wide array of tech companies and health experts on how they can use data gleaned from Americans' phones to combat the CV, including tracking whether people are keeping one another at safe distances to stem the outbreak. Okay, so do you guys hear exactly what I just said here? This is by Seattle Times. This isn't National Enquirer. This is our local paper here. They're saying that they're actually trying to figure out a way to figure out if we're standing 6 feet away from each other. And think about this. You tell us, hey, we need you to stand this far apart, or we need to figure out if you guys are standing 6 feet apart. So can you guys participate in this thing so we can see exactly where you guys are? Public health experts are interested in the possibility that private sector companies could compile the data in anonymous, aggregated form, which could then use to map the spread of infection, according to the 3 people familiar with the effort, who requested anonymity because the project is in its early stages. Yeah, it's just not done yet, so I don't want my name said. It's early. It's an ugly program. I just don't want my name, and I want to live. Silly living. I like life. Analyzing trends in smartphone owners' whereabouts could prove to be a powerful tool for health authorities looking to track CV, which has infected more than 180,000 people globally. But it's also an approach that could leave some Americans uncomfortable, depending on how it's implemented, given the sensitivity and when it comes to details about their daily whereabouts. So no fun there. Obviously, they're going to be tracking down all of us pretty soon. If you guys want to support us in a different way, this is something that we have been prepping for 2 years. I know that a lot of you guys have already done this. EMP Shield is one of our partners. These guys are absolutely amazing. They are working with the DoD. They are working with DHS, and now they're officially a part of the DEMSO team protecting the Texas grid. As far as an EMP, this is something that the entire country has actually talked about. In fact, President T-Man actually signed in a bill or an order to essentially prep up our grid because we were so vulnerable. They said if our power goes out, we could lose 90% of our population, and that's purely because we would not be able to get enough water. That would be from overall a water shortage. It can actually protect against E1, E2, and E3 phases, all of the phases of an EMP, and it will actually ground the signal before it fries your device, your home, your car, your solar system, your ham radio. There's different devices for everything. It actually protects your house against lightning as well. Make sure to go to marfugelnews.com/EMP. Now, if you want, you can actually put your name in the hat of the contest, which last time all the people that won thought, oh my gosh, I never thought I would win. There's actually a great chance for this because now there's 3 people winning 3 devices. So each person's going to get over $1,000 worth of product there. You get to choose if you want a car, a generator, and a house, or a solar system, a ham radio, and a house. Whatever combo you want to choose, if you win this, you can get that. Winners choose the device, multiple ways to enter, including daily bonus entries. You must go to marfugelnews.com/contest. Honestly, though, if you guys don't ever go through us, this is something that I seriously tell you guys, go around us. Don't put our name in. Literally go through a different creator. Get one in your house or your car or your generator. Again, if you don't have a generator or a car to get to your bug out spot, what the heck good are they? All right. And then with that being said, in California, millions are locked down. 911 gets calls about neighbors coughing. Is that creepy or what? Not only that, we shared a story the other night that Oregon police were getting calls because they didn't have toilet paper, right? Stupid stuff. This is actually like somebody out on their, at their house, seeing a neighbor cough, and they're like calling the police, like, my neighbor's coughing. This is insanity. This is madness. So with this going on, mind you, we're going to see people turn on each other. When people are cooped up in their house and can't leave and all of this, people get paranoid, like severely paranoid. With, okay. Let me just give you a quick example. And this actually scared me. I was at the Safeway by my house, and all the lines were full. Everybody had full carts. And the guy in the very front, he literally had bags on bags on bags. When everything was bagged up, his cart was like this. And he's sitting there. I could see he looked green. He was sweaty. He was a young man, like, strong. Looked like normally he looked like he was a jogger or something like that worked out. The guy was sweaty, just green looking, had dark black hair, just looked greasy. And he swear on everything. He coughed in the front of line. The credit card reader's behind him. He's turned away from the cashier. And he goes, and then I literally see him from 10 feet away go, and pull whatever it was off his jacket. And I was thinking in my head went naturally to the first place. Oh my gosh, he's coughing up blood and all this other stuff. Like, my brain thought, oh my God, that's one of the patients. I didn't actually move until, somebody opened up, one of the managers opened up a line, and I only had 2 things of creamer. Everybody else had full things. So he goes, do you want to come over here? And the guy behind me was even like, you got 2 things, go for it. That guy made all of the person who literally loaded up the entire thing, put all of their groceries back into their cart, backed out, and went to a longer line, and basically did something that I don't see anybody doing ever. Pulling out when they're the next person in line and going behind 8 carts. That's how much this guy did not want to be on that register. So this is the kind of stuff that you're going to see. That guy, I actually think he looked young enough, whatever. I still think, man, what if I saw that guy and that guy was somebody, that was just, at the worst of it or something. It was just weird. I never saw what he pulled off his jacket. But again, this is the kind of things we're going to think about. So when your neighbor coughs and you call 911, think about what you're doing to that system. Which, mind you, you can go back in your house. You don't have to walk over to your neighbor's house. It says, but first, let's see here. It says economists at UCL Monday said that the global CV pandemic will trigger a recession in the United States and lead to the loss as many of 2 million jobs. This is what, of course, UCLA is saying. It says the UCLA Anderson forecast revisited its quarterly estimates, originally issued just last week on Monday, the first time it's done so in its 68-year history. The forecast now shows 0 0.4 economic growth in the first quarter, a contraction of 6.5% for the second quarter, and another 1.9% drop in the third. It says Golden State's economy is expected to see a greater downturn than other states due to its reliance on tourism and trans-Pacific travel. More than 280,000 payroll jobs in the state are expected to be lost. So those are payroll careers. That is, this is where it's going to hit. It's going to be those career jobs, those jobs that, you know, people thought they had job security at, that will now be gone. It says, can the federal government order a national quarantine? My opinion, yes. It says, when asked about it on a Tuesday, President DT said, hopefully we're not going to need it. I just don't think it's going to be an action we're going to take. Now, no matter what you think of him, obviously a president has to keep us calm. A president has to do his best job to make everything sound peachy. If you look through the history books, there's been many times where the president had to omit things or leave things out or straight up lie about things. And I'm not, you know, people always react. Every president has had to do it, period. Your favorite president, your least favorite president. Because some of it's top secret, it's confidential, so they can't say anything about it. As far as some of the viruses we now know about that were out 10 years ago, 92, like 86, there were some ones that literally were straight out of the movie Outbreak, like 24-hour incubation, boom, you're just gone. But they basically, you know, nipped them in the bud the second they started. And we never saw or heard about those because they don't want to panic the American people. They also don't want to panic the world. There was some of them that like traveled to 8 different countries in like 2 days. There was some stories that I was reading. These were in history, but this is way before this. People were talking about how we came close in the 80s to having this virus that just went boom and just wiped us all out. Mind you, there was, you know, AIDS and other things like this that actually did wipe out huge chunks of people, and nobody understood them at first. So that's the other thing that's behind this, is that this is something new. This is something they didn't know about, or, you know what I mean. So, but it says, it's abundantly clear that governors and mayors, not the federal government, have the broadest quarantine and isolation authority. That's because the Constitution leaves that kind of police power in the hands of the states. Long-standing federal laws and rules put in place at the end of the administration gives the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention authority to quarantine people to stop disease outbreaks. The beefed-up rules were imposed after the experience of the outbreaks of Ebola and MERS 6 years ago. In fact, I covered some of the signings and things of the stuff that actually edited some of those. And man, in the rules, they can basically take or basically snatch anything they need for government reasons. It says, broadly speaking, the CDC has the power to detain people suspected of having communicable diseases without getting approval from state and local officials. Isn't that crazy? Even if you say you're sweaty, maybe you were in a jog, they could say, oh, you're sweaty, you've got to, you could have something. They can do that. It comes under public health laws that allow the federal government to impose restrictions either on people coming into the country or traveling from one state to another. So, pretty nuts. Let's see here. And then CV doctors say lung scans for young patients were, quote, nothing short of terrifying. I'm going to let you guys hit this. Dex, do you want to say this the best way you can?
The one thing I'll say is, as much as we talked about this in the past couple of shows about what they're seeing inside the x-rays on the lungs and the potential lung damage. And as there are more cases around the country, especially outside of China, we're able to actually study them. The thing that I would like to make sure people understand is the younger you are, obviously they keep saying, hey, if you're really young, you don't have to worry about this. But these people they were trying to study were some of the younger folks that were, as young as 20, 30 range. They were seeing significant issues with the lungs, what happens after the fact. So go take a look at the article, read it, but just try not to think that if you're not 80 years old, that you're invincible, because there is a potential here, and we're just starting to get more information as more and more cases come out, and we can actually do the research and understand what happens.
Exactly, and with all the changes that are happening so rapidly, there's going to be a lot of different things that are coming out as we speak. There's things coming out as we are doing this show. So we will keep you guys updated. Remember to check back at our website a lot. We are doing constant updates to this website. I mean, literally every single day it's updated with new and awesome stuff. So make sure to check it out. You can always go to all of our different tabs, and you'll see the Marfoogle News channel is there, Marfoogle TV. What is weird too, over this event, I was going to show you, but I can't do both at the same time. Marfoogle News channel has mostly been kind of unhit compared, whereas TV, because I do these long shows on that channel, it has been completely yellow, whereas the other one has basically been either green or yellow for most of the videos. Why that matters is because since April of 2018, they changed things. So if you're not monetized, they made a business decision essentially to, if they're going to recommend the heavily recommended videos, they've got to be monetized, because they're not going to push a video that doesn't make them a single cent. See, they get 50%, or I think it's 45 or 55% of everything we make on YouTube or on advertising revenue. So it is a huge deal if you get demonetized. It's not only just the money, because now the CPMs are so low. People think that everybody has, they can just do the math on it. In our niche, our CPMs go so low, it's like just stupid. Whereas if somebody was doing like a photography video reviewing a camera, it would be $11 per 1,000 views. We don't get that. We get the pennies on the dollar stuff. So keeping it monetized is more for getting it recommended to new viewers. If you think about how you found me, if you're coming from YouTube, you most likely found me through a recommended video. You saw one of my thumbs or one of my titles that got you in here. And then, of course, that's where you ended up following. So it's a big deal that there's a lot of different things changing regarding this. They actually said that they were demonetizing everything with the virus in it. And then they changed it a week and a half later, saying, we will let it, but you have to do the self-rating. That channel got hit with that. So my channel, I actually have to rate my videos. And we've been doing it extremely honestly. Like if somebody mentions a weapon or anything, I check that box, because it's actually, they're basically doing it. And if you do it correctly, they kind of give you some leeway. It's crazy how much stuff we have to deal with behind the scenes. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys that supports. Let's see here. Yeah, you can check this out on the website. We'll make sure to show you how before as well. So, okay, I did want to pop in. I'm going to pop this up. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. I wanted to... we're going to get the phones open here in just a second. Let's see here. I'm going to head over to the chat. If you're in chat right now, if you want to say hi, this would be the time to do so. Alrighty. Let's see here. Wow, we're literally... This is so funny. Oh, you guys can't see it. It's Nick Fuentes, myself, and Owen Benjamin Comedy all on the top 3. That's kind of funny. All right, let's see. Okay, we have Playhard69. What is going on? Equine Prepper. Who is that? I've never seen that before. I got some new people in here, so thank you. I appreciate you guys supporting. We've got Zippy Moon, I think. Let's see here. Zippy Moons, thank you for supporting. I appreciate that. Flawless, I always say your name wrong. Flawless Minion B, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. And then Mini70, of course. Thank you so much. In fact, I think you're on the top 5. Daniel777 says, howdy, Adam. Thank you for saying that. Lady GT476, thank you. And I'm actually going to pull out my event list so I can see you guys. Flawless Minion Bee, James Huff, CK Freddy, Mel Sara, thank you for the diamond. Nice to see you this evening with all the updates. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you guys for your attendance. Thank you for everybody that's gifting the Marfia badges. I miss some of you, and it does make me mad that I can't get to all of them. We're coming up with trying to get the system integrated so it at least pops up on the show, so it's there. And then Jay Winch says, rather die than ever take another forced. And then Planet Anna. JL Pale Horse, thank you for gifting subs. Zippy Moon, that's huge. Thank you so much. Just donated a Ninja Genie. Capachow, Thunderbird 83. We've got Rebel Dolphins, Rebel Reality Music. Looks like you guys picked the same screen name today. Did you guys coordinate? Kelly2334, get a book and relax. So another thing is the things that we're going to be doing when we are locked down. I'm going to be working on some of the Lego stuff that I have. I'm a dork, so I've got that. I'm going to be building stuff with my daughters. My 13-year-old, I'm going to be playing video games with, doing stuff I never get to do. And then Sherry, 7075, memo regarding 15-day to stop the spread is the time POTUS gives for states to lock down. Okay, so by the way, there's some memos going out to medical professions. We're going to put that somewhere else. We're not going to talk about that tonight. It's not anything that's need to worry about, but it essentially kind of says exactly what I've been saying for the last couple weeks now. And Zippy Moons, I'm sorry, guys. I have a geoengineered frog in my throat. Patty 1970, love you, work hard, Adam Dex Mod Squad. Thanks for saying what's up to Dex there. I appreciate that. Kelly, lovely Stotts, Debbie Yo, PHX Breeze, Aussie's Walkabout, and of course my mods. Thank you guys for all showing up. All right, and then I'm going to hop back to you guys here in a second. We're going to get the phones open. Did want to make sure. Gosh, it's killing me. Okay. Also, last thing though, Dex, can you tell them about Nord? And I'm going to set up the phones right now.
Absolutely, Adam. Hey, NordVPN is a virtual private network. If you use a computer or smartphone, and that means like every one of you right now, you actually need a VPN. You need to be protecting yourself. In short, Nord will hide your IP address from the bad guys. I like to say it's so easy my mom can use it, because it really is. It's like turning on and off a light switch. It allows you to protect your data on a public network or even your home network so that somebody can't sniff your traffic, as they call it, and see everything that you're doing. You can use Nord on up to 6 devices on your computer, your phone, other members in your household, and they have special discounts and rates just for the Fugle fam. So go to marfugelnews.com/VPN or use the code Marfugle, and that will get you those special deals, and it will help the channel. Again, that's marfugelnews.com/VPN.
Okay, and then speaking of which, I haven't actually talked to you about this. We need to organize on this. I did put this out on Twitter. There's the email lovemobsquad@gmail.com. I made that for people to send in designs of t-shirts for the mods. So Essentially, everybody is hit hard by this, but some of our mods, especially people who help with this channel, if you want to support this channel, what I thought was a good thing to do, because some of our mods are really hurting and a lot of really horrible things are happening to other people that help with this channel, setting up and designing a t-shirt that you guys can go, and then 100% of the proceeds will go towards the mods. It's just a little idea. Obviously, for obvious reasons, you don't want to pay mods. But again, I think that this would be a good way for you guys to support the people that are in your chat every night. These are your friends. These are people that you kind of know what's going on with them. A lot of them, and they don't complain. They don't sit there and ask for anything. That's why I thought of doing this. What I also thought would be cool is if you guys designed the shirt. So if you guys have a design in mind, keep the mod as the central theme, and then Marfugal News is the secondary. I thought of the mod squad or something. And I even thought about at first doing each mod, but then it would be you're picking mod. And we just got to do it for all of the mods. And then just kind of put that there. And then maybe, I don't know, we'll raffle it off for something. But that will be my last merchandise. We've actually did 100% of the proceeds to Cars for Heroes, which is a charity that actually helps veterans in transportation. So I thought that this was kind of a good way to do it. We're not going to do a GoFundMe or something for a group of people. So this would be a good way to do it. I'll have one of the trusted mods do it, and then they'll run it, and then I'll advertise it so you guys can donate to them. I think we need to do something because obviously there's so many people in this Fugal family too. People that are in the chat right now that are hurting. We can't help everybody, but we can try to help some. And these people help out the channel. They help out the community. They help out other people in our Discord. Our Discord is actually, people don't realize this. They just watch a show or they think, oh, this is, some stupid news show or sensationalist or this or that. We help a lot of people out through our groups, and you guys help a lot of each other out through the groups that we've created here. So again, even if I, passed on, this would still go in a way. I mean, people have met husbands and wives out of this. People have met best friends for life out of this. So if you have a design, again, send in your thoughts or your designs to lovemobsquad@gmail.com. I'll put up a thing tomorrow so you'll actually have one kind of like this, so you'll be able to see it. Okay, let's get the phones open here. And just a reminder, on Twitter, you can follow me. I always do my notifications there. You can also get notifications on our website, marfugalnews.com. Okay. It looks like up first, and looks like we lost it. Hold on. Dex, are you there? I'm assuming I lost you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Weird. I can't pull up Zoom. Okay, there we go. All right, first up, we've got April Osborne. April Osborne, one of my favorite mods. What is going on? You are live on Marfugal TV.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
Good. It's been a while since we actually talked.
How are you?
Good. What's going on?
I know. So I'm calling you tonight. One, I live in Michigan.
Okay, perfect. That's question
two,
number one.
Because my wife is an RN. And her hospital, the floor she works on is actually, she's dealing with first-hand basis with possible potential CV patients.
And
so go ahead.
So are you, I'll ask you after you say what you're going to say.
Oh, no. Okay. So she kind of gave me some things. They have right now currently 12 on her floor. They discharged any patients on her floor that were not patients for that, so that they can make room for more people. They have a mobile drive-through set up in the ER parking lot. I actually sent you pictures on Twitter of that that I took yesterday of the lineup of people waiting to be tested. They have tested 200 people a day every day since Friday when they started. And the state of Michigan is only processing 150 tests a day because we only have one lab processing it right now.
So, and are they still sending it to CDC for the ultimate confirmation? I just thought it was crazy that every single test had to be sent to CDC.
At this point, yes, but Quest Diagnostics, gotta love them. They are now going to open up here in Michigan to start helping process the tests, because all the patients that they have right now, they don't have confirmation on them because they're waiting for the results. So we don't know if they're positive or negative.
Huh. So as far as the testing, we had something weird just happen here yesterday and today. They set up all these tents in another city called Burien, and huge tents, everything set up, and then they tore them right back down. It was super weird. Local news covered it. They essentially said they didn't know why they did that. It was just weird. They set it up. It was going to be this big old thing. It was CVS. They were going to test in these tents, and then they just shut it down. It was very weird.
Now, that is weird. She did speak to an infectious disease doctor at the hospital. He says that the research they're finding now here in the U.S. is that the strain that we're being hit with here is basically similar to the contagion-wise. It's similar to the flu as far as contagion. So they're not actually making them wear N95s. They're saying surgical masks and gloves and stuff are good enough. That basically that's all they need.
Yeah. So obviously,
which is scary for me.
Yeah, and if your wife is going in there and being around all that, then she's coming home. My sister is scared because her husband does janitorial work for the schools, and now they're officially shut down. But he was going in there the whole time cleaning up, and they weren't doing masks, they weren't doing any of that. He was just cleaning. So there's situations like that. Now, do you guys know anybody that's been personally affected by it?
No, not yet.
Okay. That's
Thank
one
God.
of the main questions. So again, Michigan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Michigan.
So we're going to try to hit as many states as possible. Thank you for calling in. I would love to have you call in on a different night so we can just chat. We can get you in later this week. I'd love to.
Definitely will.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. April Osborne, everybody, give her a warm, I don't know. We don't have a word for that. Fugel clap or something.
And come
I don't know.
follow me on my channel on DLive, guys.
Oh, of course. I'm going to show them. We're going to link everything on our website. And then again, thank you for being everywhere. So thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
All right. You have a good night. April Osborne. Up next, we have Crowley Roly. Crowley Roly, you are live on Marfugel News.
Hey Adam, how you doing?
Good. So,
Can you hear me?
yes. So, what state are you from?
I'm in New Hampshire. It's southern New Hampshire. I wouldn't like to say the name of the city.
No,
but,
that's totally fine.
The top topic is one of our two large hospitals is closed now because somebody came in with the CV.
So, let me ask you this: what is your city like right now, or what is your state like right now?
So as far as so if you look at New Hampshire, it's not a very large state, but southern New Hampshire is very busy. It's somewhat like Boston, a little bit slower. However, Just being on the road, even today, everything is quiet. There are no cars on the road. Everything's shut down. They have shut down everything from schools to bars to restaurants. All schools will be shut down maybe all year.
And
I was wondering what's your input on if
how long this is going to last?
Well, when the schools warned that they'll be shut down all year, I'm just wondering. Actually, my question was in your state, in Washington State,
they say September.
The schooling is not going to be online, right? In order to preserve government assistance, is that correct?
Yes, if they are even in session, then the school cannot ask for assistance. So,
understood, and I'm quite sure that's coming our way right fast.
Yes.
Yet by Thursday this week, New Hampshire, the whole state. If you look at Governor Sununu, he stated that everything's going to be shut down completely. This is not a shutdown yet; it's a transition. Things will not be only 3 weeks or 8 weeks, and it could be the whole year. So my son's asking me if he has to repeat the 7th grade.
So I don't know how they're doing this.
Google fan, does anybody else?
Well, so I have an opinion on this. If it's public school, which most of us went to, I feel like public schools are going down and down and down, and some of the things that my 14-year-old gets away with, like not doing stuff, just some of the stuff that they let fly, and some of the kids that I know are in her same grade, they just don't go to school, they just don't do this. I'm like, how do they not make them redo? I mean, the whole No Child Left Behind thing is just kind of crazy to me, because they're actually not making sure that these kids have the information that you were supposed to learn in those grades. So I don't know if if that is the case, they're not going back. I don't know if they'll have you repeat the grade. They might just skip you through. But, doesn't that not make sense, though? Especially for high school kids, when you get into the advanced stuff, you can't just skip that.
Agreed. Mine's in middle school. He's about to go to high school, and I'm concerned with, what's next. Is it going to be online, totally? Because, that changes everything. And honestly, the Division of Education Commissioner in our state made a statement last night, about how, yes, the kids should convene. They should hang out together. Yeah, it should not be 10 or more.
Yeah, no, I've seen this all over the country, and people that aren't being affected yet will be. Just watch. So, were you affected? Do you still have a job throughout this situation?
Actually, so I still have a job, honestly, and I don't want to really disclose. However, my job there is no business. It's completely done. It's even the place that I work at that's allowed takeout, walk-in, and delivery is no longer going to be functional. Nobody's coming in. Nobody's ordering.
Okay, but no, the only question is it, so it's food related. So you have a job, but it's food related, which a lot of people in the takeout biz or delivery biz, they might be okay, or things might not be that different, or heck, things might even be better for delivery drivers right now. But again, for other folks like servers that, obviously make their tips off of serving people in person, they're kind of screwed. So, all right, well, Crowley Roley, thank you for letting us know about that hospital. We will keep an eye on New Hampshire as well. Again, that's why I wanted to do this rapid fire, so we could make sure that we get as many states and see what's going on.
Right.
No cars, nobody on the streets.
So, yes. All
right, well, thank you, Crowley Roley. You have a great night.
You too. I can send info to Dex. Thank you very much, Mark. We love the fam, part of the Mafia. Love you, man.
All right, you have a great night. Let's see here. You see what I mean? Okay, so that's Michigan and New Hampshire. Sunlight Suckers, you are live on Marfugal TV. What's going on?
Hello? Mark, can you hear me?
Hey, Sunlight Suckers.
Hello?
What's going on?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can all hear you.
Hello?
How are you doing, Sunlight?
Oh, cool. Pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm here in the great city of Kansas City, KCMO to be exact. And we have I don't know how many in Missouri, 15 cases, I think. In Kansas, we have 6 cases, 8 cases, and 1 death in Wyandotte County, which is a metro. But things haven't really changed here too much yet. I know Kansas, they have closed the schools for the duration of the rest of the year till further notice, which I thought was super weird. And then Missouri, well, in the metro here, no gatherings up to 10 people. I think they got it. But other than that, people aren't too concerned. I know I read on the Discord the other day that Topeka, the state hospital, they did a quarantine lockdown type thing where they wouldn't let anybody in, which I thought was super weird and random. I just read it on the Discord. I thought that was super weird. But that's kind of what's going on here in my city. Of course, restaurants and bars are closed. But I just, of course, think there's something way bigger going on than all, and I think everyone would agree. But yeah, that's what's going on where I'm at.
Okay, so and how is it in the city? I mean, are like Crowley Roley says, is there cars out? Are the cities empty?
There's definitely, I live in KCMO and I work in KCK, so I have a 9-mile commute every day, and honestly, traffic's got a little bit thinner, but I mean, it's still hustle and bustle, a little bit thinner. Well, when I get in KCK, Lawrence is right there, and the traffic flow is just horrible, and it's thinned down just a little bit. I really couldn't tell, honestly.
Okay, well, that's great to know. So Kansas is mostly, business as usual. Even though they've had a couple strange things happening, that's awesome to know. Is there anything else you want to say before you go? I've had you actually on. And
down. There's definitely something bigger going on. Just be aware and stay prepared.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sunlight Suckers. We'll make sure to. Did you give your channel? Because I think you have a channel, right?
I do not actually. I'm on the Discord. I'm definitely down to conversate and do some critical thinking with people, but yeah, I'm definitely on the Discord, people. That's a happening.
What I'm thinking is that we used one of your calls about the sun simulator. Is that right? I was trying to remember.
It was about 0 Point Energy, actually.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, no, critical thinking. The Discord is happening in place. If you want to learn something, jump on the Discord. We do talks and chats all day long.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sunlight Suckers. Again, that was from Kansas. Thank you for coming on. All right. And then Laurel A, you are live on Marfoogle News. What's going on?
Hi, Adam. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, so what state are you in, first off?
I am in the burbs of Pittsburgh, PA.
Okay, so I believe, are you guys having some weird stuff? You just closed down some stuff now?
Well, so far all the schools are closed. All non-essential businesses are closed. It's getting strange out there. Things are very quiet. Everybody seems kind of like in shock, I guess. It's kind of surreal to be out on the streets.
Because you guys, as of 12:01, about 2 nights ago, kind of shut down a lot of different things that are normally running, along with,
right.
a good chunk of the country. Now, have you drove around, or are you, is there people out and about?
I did. I had to actually go to the bank. I took some cash out, and the malls are closed now. There was nobody out. I wore my latex gloves, and I went to the ATM, and I took some cash out and used my gloves and then turned them kind of inside out after I got my cash and came home.
I think everybody's doing the same thing.
I had a couple different scenarios that I wanted to talk about today real fast.
Okay, go ahead. It's rapid fire, so make sure to hit it quickly.
Okay, so first of all, my husband works at a VA hospital, so everybody's checking. everybody's doing all the things that they're supposed to do, and they've got some fancy masks that I put a picture on for Dex if you want to pull it up. If not, no worries. But one of their dispatchers has the signs and symptoms, and they tested him for the virus, and they said they won't have a response for 10 days, which I thought was excessive, to say the least.
So you're saying
so
that
they have him in isolation, and
CV
he won't get
test?
his results for 10 days.
The CV test will take 10 days.
Yes.
Why is it taking so long for I guess I'm kind of confused on that. I thought it was a nose swab, and then my aunt got it in like one day, like instant almost.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I don't really know.
Can I jump
the
in
second
now?
situation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different styles of the tests. Some of them they actually have to send away to like the CDC and to other places, and that's why there's more of a delay in doing it. The ones they're doing commercially that they're trying to roll out where they can do millions, they're going to be able to do those in 24 to 48 hours because they're going away from the manual process where they manually go through and do all this elaborate work to test it, to running it through a machine, and the machine can spit out results. So a doctor should be able to swab you, test you, put the swab out in a pickup. The lab comes and picks them up. They process them through a machine and get the results within 24 hours. That's what they're trying to get to. Any day now, we should be at that phase. But until then, it's a manual process.
Wow. Well, thank you, Dex. I appreciate that. And then, Laurel, you said you had another thing that was kind of bothering you here.
Yes.
And I'm going to pull
I
up
have
the
a
picture.
friend in Eastern PA, so out where the majority of the cases are in our state, and she believes she has the CV. She has all the symptoms. She called her doctor. They're refusing to test her, saying that she doesn't meet the criteria, meaning she hasn't had direct contact with anybody who's been to Italy or China, etc. And she hasn't been in contact with anyone known to have the CV, although if you don't test anybody, it's kind of hard to know who has the CV and who doesn't. So she's at home. Pray for her, please. But they refuse to test her. And ironically, she works for the Department of Health and Human Services.
You would think a government worker would get kind of first dibs, right?
Right.
Now, can you remind us what this picture is? I see two different, very cool masks. One's Phoenix and one's some crazy stuff here. Where is this picture from?
That's my husband's in one of them. He's the one that's got the surgical mask underneath, but he's a police officer with the VA. So they have some pretty fancy gear. He doesn't seem overly concerned about running out of protective gear like some of the other hospitals. I don't know if that's because it's government or not, but he seems to think they have plenty. Okay. So that's a good thing.
Since he's a police officer, one thing I've noticed here locally, and this is kind of spooky, my wife and I were kind of spooked out. We went downtown. We didn't see a single cop anywhere, not one parked, not one driving around. We were in the area where the homeless people, it's the main strip. So it's where McDonald's, it's where all the crimes happen, it's where all the bus stops are, it's where the tourist area is. There was nothing, no cops, no nothing. We never saw one. I mean, yes, there was less cars, but there was no cops. I thought that was weird. Are they being told anything special about staying in or staying at the station unless they get a call, or do you know?
Well, regarding my husband, he's a VA police, so he's pretty much just at the VA facilities. So he hasn't been told anything specific, but I have read that for example, Philadelphia police are not responding to minor incidents. Now, how minor those are, I really couldn't say, but I do think there is a definite kind of stand down as far as the calling and the response to the calling.
Wow. And, there's so many things in that minor incident bracket. Wow, that's incredible. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I thank you for the picture as well. If the VA police are getting that kind of gear, imagine what the regular police departments are getting. I know that he's a real police officer. I didn't mean to say that. In fact, that's where he's stationed. But as far as like the military equipment that the police department has got, it's much debate why they have so much gear, rocket launchers, even some of the police departments around the country. So imagine those guys are geared up like that. Imagine what the normal police are packing in their cars now. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Laurel, and please call in again, okay?
No problem. Hey, if you have just a second, my sister-in-law in Ecuador had symptoms, and she was tested immediately and got her response immediately, like within hours. So just so you know, Ecuador is kind of on top of it.
Well, again, there's 5 strains, though. I don't think it's a good sign that they send it off. Maybe. They're just thinking. All right.
We don't use the WHO, the WHO's test. We only use ours version from the CDC. So other countries do use the other version.
Well, that makes sense. Well, thank you again, Laurel. You have a great night and be safe. Okay, let's see here. We've got Barrett. If I can get over to it. Barrett, you are live on Marfugel News. What's going on?
Doing good. How about you, Mark?
Good. So, let's see. What state are you from, Barrett?
Oregon.
Oregon. So you guys have had some headlines here. Is there some sort of delay? Am I coming through?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay. So there's been a couple things that have happened in Oregon recently. Obviously, police are getting a ton of calls about no toilet paper. But other than that, what is Oregon like?
Well,
what city?
I have a result. I have a really good answer for that. First of all, you know how everybody moves their socks? There's your answer. Socks. Mismatched socks.
Oh my gosh.
That's what if I run out, that's what I'm going to do. Mismatched socks. Then I don't have to worry about it.
If you run out of TP, you're going to use socks.
Yeah, mismatched socks.
Left or right, doesn't matter. I guess, there's no left or right
It
socks.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, they're mismatched anyways. Why wear 2 different socks?
But then what do you do them after?
That way by,
Okay. I mean, it's definitely a creative way to deal with it. And you can wash them, right?
It is a creative idea. Then I don't have to wash them. I won't have to worry about them anymore trying to find the other match because that drives me crazy anyways. And, and I'm sorry. I just, I am a little smart arse by nature.
No, that's hilarious.
So let's move on.
So what part of Oregon?
Let me start with what part of Oregon? I'm below Bend.
Okay. So you're by kind of where the Cascadia subduction zone crack is, the kind of literal
right around there. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have had some big earthquakes.
I like to live in dangerous places. I just moved from Paradise, California, so I was just involved in the fires a year ago.
Oh, goodness.
Here so I could be in the, I just like to be by all the danger zones, I guess.
You like the bad boys of states. Okay. So now,
that's me.
What is it like?
That's me.
What is it like in Bend right now?
I don't know. I don't live in Bend. I'm outside of Bend.
So are you out in the sticks?
Really small town that's pretty quiet.
Okay, so let me ask you this:
I do know that.
Is everybody acting like it's a big old virus, or out in the sticks are they like, this is BS?
It really was kind of quiet until Friday, and then Friday everything kind of hit the fan. The stores got all real busy. The shelves started to clear out and stuff like that.
Even out in the sticks, they're still essentially
even
it's hit everywhere.
Sticks. That's what thing kind of hit the fan on last Friday.
Okay. And then have you been affected by this, or anyone you know been affected? Are you still working? Do you have family members that are not working?
No, I don't work, unfortunately. But I was talking to my son, and when I was out out and about on Friday. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I asked somebody on Discord. I said, you know what? I heard that there was something in Bend. Can somebody, reiterate that for me? And somebody did on Discord, said, yes, there is a case in Bend. And my son lives in Bend, and he called me on Saturday, and I said, hey, I hear, please be safe. I hear there's a case in Bend. And he says, do you know who that is? And I said, no. And he goes, well, I do. He says, it's my boss's girlfriend's boyfriend. No, my boss's daughter's boyfriend. And he's in the hospital.
Once removed. Well, hopefully never removed. Sorry.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm all like, well, I really hope you haven't seen the boss.
So, so I just like to say, the first time that we heard about somebody that the first person that we had that had it was kind of like that, like the friend's boss's girlfriend's brother. But then it got to the point where it was, sister. Oh, my best friend's this, and then this, and that. Now we've lost a family friend. So, and we've lost somebody very close to us.
Praying. Yeah. Yeah, I pray it doesn't touch my family.
Okay, well, so I guess the last question is, too, are any of your family members going to be affected by this as far as job-wise? Are they going to be closing businesses out in Oregon?
Well, he hasn't said anything. He's in Portland working, so as far as I know, no.
Okay, well, Oregon's still good. Well, is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
The one thing I do want to say is that, my question is, are we shutting down for 2 weeks for them to finish rolling out the 5G?
That I don't know. I honestly, I think it's
really
already up.
My question to everybody, seriously, why are we shutting down? Because the numbers don't match for us to shut down. But think about it. The other countries that really have the big numbers, 5G already rolled out. That would be, China, South Korea, and Italy. They've already completely rolled out their 5G.
See, that's why I honestly, I see the towers. I see everything there. I just don't see that it's for that necessarily. As far as it being related, that would be for a different show.
I'm just wondering. I mean, and I'm throwing it out there to everybody.
Oh no, I think
just
a lot of people are throwing
it
out there. A lot of people are talking about that. No, I understand that. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Barrett. I appreciate you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, guys, and have a great one. Love you all, and we need to be praying.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you, Barrett.
Thanks.
God bless you.
Love you all.
All right.
Bye.
So as far as the different theories, more so this episode, I wanted to make sure that we had kind of a broad spectrum of the country, and got to thank for it. We're going to do a special show only on our live platform, and we're going to make sure to go and hit all of those things that we're not going to take any stops out. Uncensored, and we rip it absurd. All right, let's see. Hawk Frog. Hawk Frog. What a cool name. You're a hawk and a frog. You are live on Marfoogle TV.
Hey, Adam, how are you?
Good. So let's see. What state are you in, Hawk Frog?
Northwest Indiana, kind of near Chicago.
Okay, and how is it there? What's going on there?
Very similar to everywhere else. Schools closing down, bars, restaurants, all local gathering places shut down. Little coffee houses, all those kind of things shut down. Similar scenario with one of your previous callers too. And by the way, I'm a long-time listener from the days of you and the wife in your dining room. First-time caller. But yeah, same thing as everywhere else pretty much as far as the lockdown and shutdowns. And also with the Walmart. You go there or you go to Sam's locally, shelves are empty. People rolling out with, the full cart of toilet paper, which is a little crazy. But one thing I want to touch base on, one of your earlier callers was talking about not being able to pull enough money out, or you had mentioned some females had gone to the bank, tried to get a lot of money, but they were only getting like 10% of what they wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. well, when this first started going down, listening to Prepper Nurse One, listening to you guys, and some of the other channels that I supported 3 weeks ago, when the Dow was at 29,000, me and the wife were talking, thinking about pulling a lot from our high risk places to the low risk, so you take minimal loss. Because I kind of saw this coming with all the trade cut off from China. Things coming from China weren't happening due to the whole CV. And when I called Merrill Lynch, they would not allow me to move it into a safe, low risk, low gain. They wouldn't allow me to do it. Told me I had to wait 2 months.
So, but by the way,
really
do you?
And,
I don't know how often you watch the show, but there was another woman who, Dex. I don't know if you remember that. Do you remember the woman who called and said almost the exact same thing?
Yeah,
was that different?
She had sold her assets into cash in her 401k and was trying to move it from the 401k to another type of asset class outside of the 401k, and then she got held up. They actually held her money, and she fortunately was able to transfer into cash at the earlier prices, so she didn't get affected by the drop.
Oh, I know. That's crazy. I mean, think about her just doing that a couple months ago. Think about what she saved. That's incredible.
Oh, for sure.
Now,
but I wasn't trying to pull the money out. I was just trying to transfer to a lower risk area, and they weren't allowing me to do it. And luckily, I pulled a bunch of cash like you guys had mentioned in the past, so I'm covered there. And I've always been like an amateur prepper, so thank goodness that's all covered.
Well, you know that we talked about this 2 months ago. We told people that that's why we put our disclaimer. That's why we said, we're not here to give legal, medical, or financial advice. But I did make mention that, my uncle, who I trust a lot, said that, that this is going to hurt the market. And he foresaw this, big downturn. A lot of people, even people that, think are crazy, they were saying the market's going to take a deuce, and it did. So I'm just glad that some people got out before it did this. I don't know, though. Some people made money. Here's the thing. People make money betting on the market losing. And
oh, yeah. You admit to someone that made $6,000, a relative of yours or a friend of yours?
Yeah, my cousin. But I was just thinking on such a much bigger scale. My cousin made $6,000 in one day betting that it would take a deuce, and it did. And I go, holy moly. And then I was looking into it. That is what we talk about as far as the families. If you had the power to manipulate something that big and to bet on the losing side of it, that's actually happened in history. And people have gotten in trouble for it. But when you're talking about the very, very top of the top, where you support both sides and you basically take advantage of the disaster. So, just saying, I can't. It would be for a different show. We would do that on one of our uncensored broadcasts. But again, thank you for calling. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go, Hawk Frog?
Yeah, just real quick. Our area, Lake County, Indiana. Again, it's northwest Indiana, near Chicago. We just started getting our first couple of cases rolling through. And in my job, I work near O'Hare Airport. I travel for my company, and we've had a couple of jobs that have canceled due to, from the reasons not being able to come in. I was supposed to go to Spokane, Washington. That was canceled. Next week, I was supposed to be going to Colorado Springs. That was canceled. So it's affecting the job there as far as travel goes. And I think it's just going to get crazier and crazier.
No, I agree with you, and I think especially for truckers or people that are in transport or any kind of thing like this, they're going to notice that the dispatch is going to get real dry, and these drivers with some of these bigger companies, they're going to say, what's my load today? I don't have a load. Okay, we got to wait. My wife's dad works for one of the food supply chain places, and essentially he's going to a lot of these crazy places, going to nursing homes, going to all sorts of places, and he distributes the food. He drops off the pallets from his truck. They're even dropping out. And he's a veteran. He's been there for, 30, 40 years. And now all of a sudden they're saying, we might not have loads for you next week. That's crazy. That's like, one of the, if you knew the company, it's like, whoa. So even some of the biggest companies are drying up.
Everybody's taking a hit.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Hawk Frog, for calling in, and I want you to be safe, and please, make sure you've got stuff for the coming being, because it doesn't sound like it's as extreme as it is other places in the country.
No, right on. No, we should be set for about 6 months or so. But I want to thank the Fugle fam, you and Dex. You guys do a great job. I try to catch you every chance I can.
That's awesome.
You guys are great.
Thank you, Hawk Frog. Have a good night. Let's see. We've got Rhonda next. Rhonda, where are you at and what's going on?
Hey, I'm from Tennessee. How are you? I'm doing good.
Good. I can hear the
Can you
Tennessee.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. So what do you want to know about Tennessee?
So what is
Anything and everything, right?
what is the vibe there? What is it like?
Well, I'm in a rural county, pretty small county actually. I'm in the Upper Cumberland. When the tornadoes hit last week in Nashville and then Cookeville, Tennessee, I'm about an hour northeast of Cookeville. I'm in a pretty rural area, small town, but everything was kind of calm here, like till Thursday and Friday of last week. Then our stores got hit like really, really hard. The county that I live in, we have a Walmart, a Save-A-Lot grocery store, and then we have like 2 other small family-owned groceries in our area, and that's all we have. To get to to Kroger's or an Aldi, we have to drive to Putnam, which is Cookeville, and they're about an hour away. Or we have to drive the other direction to a Kroger in a Food City. They're an hour away as well. But even those counties have been hit really hard. They were already depleted, due to the storms, because they were helping the families and the victims of the tornado. And they were already running out of toiletry supplies and things like that before this buying set in this week. So it's been hit pretty hard. Like our Walmart shelves, there's no meat. Our other stores have no meat. Every store was getting trucks. Walmart's getting 1 and 2 trucks every night where we live. And they still can't keep stuff stocked in our area.
Now, do you currently work, and are you still working? Do you have family? Is there anybody that's been personally affected by this to the point where it's a big deal?
Well, no, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I homeschool my younger 2, and my oldest is in stage 5 kidney failure. So, no, I'm not working, but my husband works, and I will say he works for Purdue, which is a chicken industry. They produce chicken. And about 3 weeks ago, they had told them, when we get our first case, we're automatically closing down for 2 weeks. Well, then on Sunday, this past Sunday, 2 days ago, they get an alert message. Like they have a setup through their text to where they send alerts like for bad weather or not to come in due to bad weather, things like that. And they send an alert out to them on Sunday that they were going to remain open due to them being part of the supply chain, I'm assuming for the U.S. So I don't know if that's changed. They haven't really told them if it had changed from what they had first said. But no one here is taking it serious. Like most everyone that we know is seeing it as another flu. No one's wearing masks out in public. We do. And of course he wears masks and stuff at work, but no one in the public is taking it serious. We actually have a local doctor who was joking and laughing and brushing it off as, oh, it's just another flu. Everybody's going to catch it. There's no need to panic and worry about it. Everything's going to be fine. And laughing at a mother who had took children in who was sick with sinus issues, a real close friend of mine. And that was just yesterday that he was doing all this, and my question is, at what point does it, they do the critical oath, to do no harm, but then they're continuing to say, it's nothing and making a joke out of it. At what point is it not harming people.
No, well, and again, if you are feeling sick, you should be going to see medical help, or you should at least be checking out what your local state says how to get tests. The thing is I don't understand why people wouldn't at least give it the benefit of the doubt, and at least I guess you can say all you want. Oh, I bet it's this, but I would think if it was you that's sick, that you would still want to go get yourself checked. You could be on Twitter and be everywhere going, oh, I don't care about this. But then once you start getting a headache, sniffles, coughing in season, I hope I guarantee you half these people, they would be going straight in to be tested, even though they don't think it's there, right? So essentially, people aren't affected.
About our area,
people are basically.
The bad thing about my local area, we have no hospital. Our hospital actually shut down this past summer, like the end of May into June, due to financial reasons. So we don't even have a local hospital. If something major goes on with us, our ambulance service is still working, and they will pick us up and take us to a different county, like to Cookeville or Crossville. They've also done some trips to Knoxville and Nashville, which those hospitals are already going to be strained due to this. So if something major goes on here, I mean, that's where we're going to have to go and hope to get help. So you would think that people in our area would be taking more precautions due to that factor.
Okay, so I want to say something, Rhonda. Essentially what she's saying is you guys don't have your own hospital, so you guys, I mean, even if somebody breaks their arm, what do you have to take? A 35-minute?
We can't get nothing done.
I mean, how long does it take you to get to the hospital?
We can't get anything done at a hospital. It's a good 45 minutes, and that's the closest, which is Cumberland County. And then to go to Putnam County, which is Cookeville, Tennessee, it takes about a good 50 minutes to an hour. And to get to a major hospital, like what we call major hospitals, those are in the bigger cities like Nashville and Knoxville. And those in either direction of us, if you go east to Knoxville, that's 3 hours. If you go east to Nashville, it's 2.5 to 3 hour drive by ambulance.
Wow. So you guys are in a really bad place. So this is exactly why you guys should be extra prepared. Obviously, if anything serious happens, then you're going to be stuck calling a local ambulance to drive you an hour and a half to do anything. So I know you are being careful. That's awesome. Well, Rhonda, I appreciate you calling in, and thank you for giving us the heads up. Essentially, what the kind of the overall, though, is in her city in Tennessee, people are just kind of laughing it off. And we're going to see this in the Midwest and some of those states that are not really that hard affected yet. But I guarantee you the bigger cities like Nashville and things like that, I've already gotten messages. They're all out. You guys are going to be all out, but people don't believe that it's something that's real, which, mind you, that's up to personal decision. Yeah. But go ahead.
Our stores, our stores are out for the most part. There's some things on the shelf, and like I said, they're trying to stock as much as possible. But as far as people, taking it serious, that's not a thing. And we're up to 73 cases in Tennessee as of today. But they're not really testing very much yet. They're still just rolling that out here. We just started, it was all going through the CDC, and that just started going through another private company pickup and started testing, I think, toward the end of the week last week. And there's been more tests since they started than had initially been done with, we had been using I guess it's the health department for the state had been using just them, and then they would have to send it to the CDC, and it was taking forever to get results back. So supposedly that's supposed to be picking up this week, and I think they've set up 2 drive-through test sites in different parts of the state. But as of yet, that's all that they've set up.
Well, thank you so much for calling in, Rhonda. Thank you for the updates, and please call in again, and I am praying for you and your family, and especially your husband. who's obviously that's great that he's still working. Again, my wife's dad is actually in food. Well, actually, both are in the supply chain business, so they're going to keep working through all of this. But the downside is they're going to be driving around all of this stuff. All right, well, so we're going to be heading over to Bill. Bill, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Bill, we got you. Bill, are you there, or did we lose you? All right, Bill, we got you?
Yeah.
All right, you're live on Marfoogle TV.
Yeah, well, from Ohio, I'm a trucker. Same thing as every other state here in Ohio. They're shutting all the bars and restaurants down. Kids are out of school and everything. I did hear that last Thursday we had 3 cases, and now we have 50 cases here in Ohio.
So I see. The thing is, I don't think the numbers even matter at this point. It's like, what are the physical things that are changing around us? We're getting locked down. So again, what city are you in, and what does it look like there?
Just north of Columbus. Basically kind of dead around here. Nobody's really out on the road. I'm just getting back in town right now, as a matter of fact. But no traffic. Nobody's out, in the streets or at any stores or anything like that.
Now, it sounds like you're driving. I hope you're being safe.
Yeah, I got my Bluetooth on.
Okay, good. Now, as far as has this affected you? Are you working right now? Are you a driver, or what? I guess what kind of field are you in?
Yeah, I'm a driver. Pretty much haul anything. One of the big things that we haul, one of our main things, is McDonald's wrappers and Burger King wrappers. Now they have gotten kind of strict on that, about how we're not supposed to touch any of the freight or anything like that. We're not allowed going on the docks anymore when they're loaded and everything.
That's kind of good to hear for anybody who goes to restaurants. You have a lot of background noise, though, unfortunately, with that Bluetooth. All right, well, so as far as you're driving around, what are you seeing on the roads? Are you seeing less traffic?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yes, that's much better. So, Bill, are you seeing less traffic?
Yeah, there really ain't any traffic on the road. But I noticed one thing that's a big thing that I ain't seen. I ain't seen too many cops out on the road either.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. So we've been driving as much as possible to get errands done and all this stuff. I have not seen any cops, at least in Washington. There's none. Like, it's really weird. Maybe somebody will call and say, "Oh, I see tons of them. They're all hiding," and I don't know, but it is kind of weird that all these cops are just not showing up. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I just came back from South Carolina today, and the whole way I maybe saw 2 State Highway Patrol, and that was in Virginia. But one of the big things I thought was really curious, last night when I was headed down to Columbia, South Carolina, about at midnight, I saw, I'd say, 5 or 6 unmarked semis hauling cargo containers with Department of Defense seals on the side of them.
Oh, see, that's the kind of stuff that that we want you to take. Well, that's the kind of stuff that we want you to send us if you get a camera. Take pictures of any kind of weird stuff that you see.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just figured out why there's no cops.
I tried to get a picture and get it come through.
Yeah, you know why? I just figured this out too. One of my friends works at the Superior Court. But he said Superior Court is still open. Municipal court is closed, so traffic tickets and things like this are closed. And essentially, traffic tickets, the court's closed. I, for some reason, think that the local police here are not doing like the speed traps and things like that right now. They might just, might not be doing it. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they're just looking for serious offenses. Like somebody else said, that they're not even responding to minor incidents. So, like if somebody, runs a stop sign or something, not responding. But I don't know. That's pretty crazy to think about. I literally have not seen a single cop. Well, Bill, thank you for calling in, and thank you for giving us the heads up about Ohio. It was your state that the people were having all the issues in Akron, Ohio, with the banks and pulling out their own money.
Yeah, that's actually one of the places I deliver to when I run my local run. And one last thing, Adam, I've noticed over the past week, there has been a lot of strange, unnormal aircraft flying around here in Ohio.
Okay, so that is not... Okay, you're not the only one there either. So you should get on my Twitter. A bunch of other people from Ohio, too, are posting stuff about that. And they're actually posting that they're seeing all sorts of weird drone-type things at night. And it's not the same as Colorado, because these are smaller, and they're like surveillance. So I would definitely even look into that.
There's one right now.
Go ahead.
There's one right now I've been probably just kind of keeping my eye on for about the past half an hour as I've been getting back into town here, and it's kind of hovering just north of Columbus, but whatever this is, it's bigger than a drone.
Well, man, get off your phone and get a picture of it. Send it to us. Love to see that. Let's see. Well, Bill, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you, and please call in again. I'd love to talk to you during a normal show. All right, let's see here. Jax G, what is going on? You are live on Marfugal News.
Adam, hey, Dex. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and did I say your name right? Jax G?
Yeah, it's Jax G.
Okay.
The G stands for something else.
And you were local. You're from Washington then?
Yeah, I'm from Monroe, Washington.
Okay, now, obviously, I could ask you what your state's like. I guess what part of the state? Are you Eastern Washington, Western Washington?
Monroe is right next to Everett.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. No. So, okay, have you seen any cops around here?
Yeah, that's the weird part, is the streets have been pretty dead. My husband's a mechanic, and he works in Maltby, which is down 522, and he says it's just been, like, eerily, there's no cars on the streets. It's really weird.
And I understand the cars, but the cops, I would think that they would be just, kicking it, hanging out, waiting for one guy to, like, speed by. But no.
Well, I follow the police scanner.
Oh, my wife does that too. The apps?
Yeah. No, I follow the police scanners, and they've been pretty busy with robberies and medics, and I also follow my local PD, where they report all the incidences from the day. There's really been an uptick in robberies and stuff like that.
Okay, so home robberies, right?
Yeah, like car theft and prowling and trespassing, stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's a crime map here local. I don't know if it's around. I'm sure there's a version of it around the rest of the country, but the home, that's what my wife said too, and we didn't know if that was because of this, but we check it all the time in our own neighborhood, and what we've noticed is that there was all of these breaking and enterings, and people are home. Any idiot of a robber right now would know that everybody is home. So that's like scary and brazen at the same time.
Like during the day, it's crazy.
Yeah, so we've noticed the same thing.
I don't know if the cops are just that much more busy or what, Adam.
Okay, another question is, Are you personally affected, or do you know somebody who's been personally affected by this?
We've been self-quarantining up until now because my daughter was tested for CB. And
wait,
come to find out,
she's positive or just tested for it?
What's that?
She tested or is positive?
She was just tested, and everybody was sick. So I thought, out of courtesy, we'd stay home. My husband wasn't sick, and he reported it to his work and went ahead and went to work. But me and the kids, we decided, just better safe than sorry. What they're doing now is they're taking the flu swabs in the private clinics, like the little clinic here in Monroe is the one that sent it out, and they're sending it out to their private labs for testing. But because they have to ship it so far, it takes forever, and we had to wait 5 days for our results.
Okay, so
but she did test negative.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you were probably tested. Is that because you requested it from your doctor, or because somebody at her school did test positive? Or you?
No.
So why did they test her?
No. That's what I asked. I was like, okay, I don't understand. This is upper respiratory. She's been sick since the 18th. It's just been coming and going. She's gotten worse. That's why we're here. Why are you even bothering to test her? Even when I went in to my doctor, he said, I'm pretty confident we don't have to test you. It's all upper respiratory. So the symptoms didn't match. So I asked them, I said, well, why are you sending her a test out? And he said, we just got the capability to do this as of yesterday. So today we're sending them out. And then I talked to the nurse later on, and I was like, still don't understand why you tested my daughter in the first place. And she said they're pretty much testing everybody. And
but how are you in that position?
Pharmacy.
How are you in that position? Did they come to your house, or you went to the doctor for normal stuff and they said, okay, let's test you?
It was just a normal doctor thing. She was having trouble with her sinuses. It's been we got tested positive for strep.
Okay.
And so we've all had very much like nothing in the chest, just upper respiratory stuff and she was struggling to lay down and sleep. So I called ahead and I said, hey, she's pretty bad. Could we get her checked to make sure she doesn't have an infection? And that's why I brought her in. And it was all like, to the book, like just a normal doctor's checkup. That's why I was so confused by it. It was like, I didn't even bring it up. I didn't say anything about CV at the appointment. It wasn't until the end that he said, I would like to send her test out. I was like, why? So I guess they're testing anybody whenever they do the flu test now in the little clinics. They're sending it out to labs for CV.
Well, that's definitely it's a good thing that it's negative, and I'm sorry you had to wait a week for that. That's always stressful, especially when you have a little one. Well, is there more? Is there one more thing that you wanted to say before you went?
Not really. I think I'm just nervous about my husband's job and how this is all going to pan out. Oh, and thank you. I wanted to say thank you to you and Debs, because when you guys first reported this, like months ago, this coming out of, just the whole deal, I told my husband about it, and I said, we have to watch this. And he downplayed it, and he didn't believe me. But because I was able to follow this with you guys, and I had a heads up, I've been ahead of the curve. So I just really wanted to say thank you guys.
Well, that's awesome. We appreciate it. We seriously do. We were just talking about somebody else that said thank you, and it really does matter to us. And we've been saying this since way before. We said lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. And now it's happening, and all the people that called us crazy said, oh, that's a normal day at Costco. That's totally normal. This is that. All those people are literally seeing it for themselves, and they're like, oh, maybe it wasn't a normal Saturday. So thank you. What does your husband do?
Even normal for Christmas time.
Exactly. What now? Does your husband drive, or is he what kind of? You don't have to say exactly, but what kind of field?
Mechanic.
Okay, that's right. So, you know, I'm trying to get the feel for like what jobs are still going to survive through this, and you know what jobs are not. So I guess that's one thing that always is needed.
I asked him, because he works for a recycling center. So I asked him. I said, if they shut down all non-essential businesses, do you think your business would stay open? And he told me no.
What?
Because it's not government. It's not state. It's a private business.
But garbage and recycling, we were just talking about that too. What happens if we can't get our garbage out? That it's a horrible situation. Or recycling, which will add up.
Yeah. Well, think about it. If the state ones might stay open, but the private ones probably won't. My husband doesn't think his will.
Huh.
I mean, he thinks that they'll hold on to the last minute, but he's talking like, no, if it comes to it, they'll shut down.
Well, I'm hoping that he keeps a job through that. I'm sure, again, there's going to be a lot of people affected. We're going to actually check back in a week if we can even go live. I have a feeling internet is going to have problems because of the amount of people that are on, but who knows? So, Washington group, make sure to get in Discord. We're going to try to come up with a basic idea. If everything hits the fan, set up a meeting place. So yeah, we're going to do that as well. Thank you, Jax G. I appreciate you, and God bless you, and have a great night, okay?
Thank you, guys, and you have a wonderful night. Stay safe.
All right. Let's see here. By the way, Pat Leading Fox, thank you again, just period. You might not be here tonight, but I want to thank you, just period. Thank you. Carol Palmer, you might not be here tonight. I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate you so much. Lady GT476, thank you. Minnie 70, thank you. Sweet Melissa, thank you. As far as this stream, thank you, Zippy Moons. I know I probably missed a message and a Ninja Genie or two. Looks like 4. Thank you. Thank you guys for supporting us. It's not just a one-man bandstand here. So thank you for supporting this channel as a whole. Patty1970, thank you for supporting this channel as a whole. Thank you, Flawless Minion B, WHWH or YHWH. I appreciate you guys so much. Daniel777 and Kelly2334. You guys are always in here supporting, always in here donating. So thank you. Obviously, it's a huge deal right now, especially with how everything we're talking. There's nothing to talk about for news except for this, and this is not something they want. They want to really pay advertising for. Not unless you have the letters A, B, and C in your name. What's up, Twisted Tats, Equine Prepper, Daniel Massey. We've got Patty Morton. I'm a Space Cadet 2, because I'm a Space Cadet 1 is over on the YT, I think. Let's see here. Smoky Mountain Gal, Serenity PA. What is going on? Mike to 1968, Northern Tiger, PHX Breeze. Phil Billy from YouTube, J Stone 78. Don't know if she's here, but she is my favorite. Awesome. CJ Blaze, Chick Little, M Menching. Keep up the work. Mike 1968, Earthworm Jim, W West 1. Karma is here. You guys are all awesome. And then Zippy Moons, Patty 1970, Flawless Minion Bee, Daniel and Kelly, you guys are all VIPs. Thank you. Dex, what is it like in Georgia? That's another thing I forgot to,
Yeah, hey Adam, we've got obviously all the schools are closed around here, and they recently just said, hey, we're gonna kill it through the end of the year now, into the end of the season. Yeah, the tensions are high. The roads are empty. You need to go to the grocery store early. It's nice to see that some of the stores are putting in new rules where they allow the elderly to come in the first hour or so that they can shop alone and not have to be around all the other people. So those things are starting to be implemented around here. And then, of course, a lot of the stores are closing early and they're changing their stores. Our mall recently closed. All the stores in there closed. Kids have lost jobs, and they're having to figure out how to support themselves now. So, yeah, it's a lot happening. The other thing that I wanted to mention real quick was this: the changes that you guys are going to see, we're all going to see around testing. And if you look at a country like South Korea, which has gotten ahead of their what's happened in their country and actually started to bring their numbers down, they did it because of testing. They got so much testing done that they were able to identify as many people as possible so that those people could be smarter about not getting out. And in their case, they were really strict and said, hey, you're going to quarantine. And if you don't, you're going to get fined. And that actually helped quell the spread. So where we're really behind on it is that testing, which is why you keep hearing from DC, from the feds, that they're trying to get that ramped up. That's why they're trying to get it rolled out across all of these businesses that are participating, opening up their parking lots. And the reason that's important is we don't inundate our hospitals. If we flood the hospitals with everybody trying to get tested with the sniffles and the cough, that's not going to be good for the hospital. That's going to bring too many people
Here's
together,
one thing,
right?
Dex, is I want to know, can this thing be tested if you're in the incubation period where you have no symptoms, right? Can they test for it then? If yes,
yes.
And
that's what they're saying. And the problem is right now there's not enough tests, so they have to prioritize
I understand that,
the test.
But get this. The trillions of dollars that's going to be lost here, why don't they spend that money, the $1,000 per person that they're giving away or, going to try to delegate to people? Why don't they spend $3,000 per person in the United States and get us all tested, period, just have us all not move, whatever, for 2 weeks. If this was a situation, all travel, just end the damn thing and have, but I guess it's complicated because it's the whole world. But
yeah,
again,
and there's a lot of challenges to how they actually implement it because they can't just have everybody show up, like I said.
Well, if we tested every single person, it might only be 4,000 people, and then those people stay down. The rest of the country,
and that's
business
what they're trying
as usual.
to get to. And that's what the first $8 billion that they set aside was to pay for and ramp that up. So hopefully that will actually happen. The money's there. They're spending it. They're spending, and they're saying they're spending enough to actually ramp that up. The new labs that have rolled out, they literally can process the test in 24 hours or less. So, you should be able to get results in 24 to 36 when you think about the fact that you pull into a drive-through, you get tested, then they ship it off to a lab, and then they call you up and give you your results.
It's just it's crazy everything that's going on.
Yeah. And that's really how South Korea got ahead of it, is they just tested everybody, and they had to figure out how to do it quickly. And that's what we're trying to do now.
Well, the whole thing is all messed up. This entire freaking world is going to... I just can't say enough about how serious this is. That doesn't mean we've got to be scared. It means we have to take it seriously. Stop laughing about it in Tennessee. These people are, whatever. It's all whatever until it comes and locks down and you lose your job. The jobs are what is concerning me. All of these people losing their work, then they can't feed their family. Think about it in the next month, 2 months, 3 months. Think about somebody with 3-4 kids that doesn't have the money to feed their kid. Even if they get $1,000, that isn't going to pay the rent. If somebody was here, $1,000 wouldn't even cover a rented room in a drug house. Over here, the average rent is $2,000 to $2,500. In fact, a one bedroom in Seattle is $2,100 on average. So that's pretty insane. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, that is insane. And Adam, just put this out there. What would happen if every person right now that actually had it just stayed home and recovered, except for the ones that needed hospital treatment? The rest of the folks that have it, that are spreading. Imagine if they just stayed home and recovered, just like they would recover from any other, viral, infection. It would make a huge difference. So you may be that person, and if you're not doing this, then you're affecting other people, and you're affecting the economy. You're affecting all of us.
But people don't care. If it is what they say it is, and Young Buck, whatever, get it done. I don't think there's a really great. And you would think with as many contingency plans that they would be planning, and would have had a kick-ass plan out of the gate, since they have all year, every year to plan for this. CDC literally drills about this. That's what kind of makes a lot of the nonsense in my head. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming tonight. Thank you for watching the show. Of course, thank you for all the callers. We got 9 states in tonight. We got to kind of see. We're going to do another one of these next week. I'm going to try to get more states in and try to get more calls in from you guys. Of course, this is something that we wanted to try to do for a while, is get more callers in and try to get a lot of people's opinions about this, because I think it matters if we see, or if we're able to communicate with the rest of the country, instead of just getting our stuff from 1 or 2 sources. We're getting it from the people. The people are what matters here. So definitely very crazy stuff going on. All right, let's see here. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people that really matter, you. Thank you guys again. We are out. Have a good night.
This virus hitting none of us. Mama Fugo. This virus hitting none of us. Mama Fugo. This virus none of us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of us. Mama Fugo, mama Fugo. Mama Fugo, mama Fugo. Mama Fugo, mama Fugo. This virus hitting none of us. 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 Mama Fugo, mama Fugo. This virus hitting none of us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of Fugo. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of Fugo. Mom fire, mom hitting mom of us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of Fugo. Mom fire, mom hitting mom of us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of Fugo. Mama Fugo, mama Fugo. Mom fire, mom hitting mom of us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of Fugo.
Hey, we've got some peppy peppers in
You want to know what's
the
going
chat.
on?
Thank you so much, Daniel777. Great show, Adam and Dex. Northern Tiger, Grego2, Stiller M. Sarnia. Zippy Moons is my number 1 today. Thank you for being a supporter of this channel. Patty1970, Flawless Minion B, YHWH, Daniel777, Kelly2334, and of course, Pat Leading Fox. You may not be here in mind, but in spirit, we're right behind you.
Mama Fugo, mama Fugo. 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 Mom fire, mom hitting mom us. Mom this Fugaris, mom none of Fugo.
Stellar Somnia and Bones gonna go with that K-Right Irish. Oh, oh, oh. You got to
go. You got to whack it down. Coming back to whack it round. I got that little soul. And that somebody she stole. Oh wait, it's somebody special. Ha 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 ha. Minion Native, Gambill, 02375. Gonna bring it back with the 8-bolt die. I'm about to go back with the green H. Curly Q, 1970. 1 or maybe all 2. JMPRSSC. Lady Green Eyes and the rest of the sea. Gotta bring it back like Sherman Kenny. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
What's up, my peoples? Clan Mama. WW West. One More Mom. And PHX Breeze.
Mom Fugle, Mom Fire, Mom Hitting, Mom Fuss. Mom this Fugle, this Mom Netta Fugle. Mom Fire, Mom Hitting, Mom Fuss. Mom Fugle, Mom Fugle. Mom Fugle, Mom Fugle. Mom Fire, Mom Hitting, Mom Fuss. Mom this Fugle, this Mom Netta Fugle. Mom Fire, Mom Fugle. Virus hitting none of us. This virus hitting none of us. Mom this virus, Mom 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 none of us.
We are distributing the awards. Make sure to be there. Casper Sparks, Gem, Cole Cracker. Thank you, Luna Soul, for the 30 lemons. Crazy Coyote, I appreciate it. JR Pale Horse, thank you. Nationalistic, thank you for the ice cream. Rixer Upper, Obey 777. Colby, Jack Good and Plenty, Somebody Special, Southern Mercy. Uh-oh, I think we didn't do it now. Hey, good and plenty, we're gonna bring back the time we spent. Me, WSB, gotta be everything that you've ever seen. Earthworm Jim, Phil Bitley, all my friends, Enemy 5T. Gotta bring it back with the Steve 84G. Enchanted by you, gonna go by you straight on doing what we like to do. Patty 70 now. Oh, yes, now we're gonna bring JoJo, I like me for me. It's gonna be enough, good and plenty. Got that cold cracker Mama Sherry, that Jaybird Musset Berry. Gotta give me that Southern Mercy, the Southern Mercy. Don't you sue, Curly Q. Got to see that Mr. Man, G-Bo Man, and the rest of the clan going back down in the Lindsay Deluxe Sega. They said they need more cowbell, so therefore we need more cowbell. Let me bring my back my food. I love that Dottie V. Bring it back with the barefoot lass. Gonna go Bill Pagan 11 with the class. Gonna drop it down like the cold crack and never coming back. Never coming back, never coming back. With the Maui racing realtor. With the Maui racing realtor. Little Allison and Susan Big. Serenity, PA and 6 hour in the sunny ray. We're gonna say hello today. Rigs are up, bring it down and down is up us. Brandon Phoenix, Google my fuga. Coming back now and we do the poodle. Gonna bring a green ace 9 all down. Gonna go back like we heard the sound. Top contributors, go yeah. A zipper moon, dear. Oh. Zipper moon's gonna bring it. Patty 1970 gonna sing it. Flawless, can you be YHYH, YHWH, however you say it. I'm gonna bring it back down and we're gonna bring it down we smooth. Gotta go back and the county 2-2. 2, 3, 3, 4 with that flow. Wanna go it back. Gonna bring it back. Zipping moves and bring it back. Patty 1970. Flawless, Benny Bang. And Daniel 7777. Cali 2, 3, 3, 4. Cali 2, 3, 3, 4. Now we know. Daniel and 77 going bring it back. Zip it, moves and all of that. They gonna bring it back. We got that number 2 pencil. Gonna write down the songs. That's how District 1 says. I'm gonna get the whistle. Minnesota man 44. Bring it out now, you know. The more information that you have, maybe it makes so big. They say now we've gotta say that Jesus saves. But apparently Deluxe Savior's gonna bring it back. la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Send the mic and we're gonna bring it back with the gem. We gotta sing it and we love for everyone. Gonna go say it and I know that you not gonna spray it. Don't spray it, say it. Especially now, with everybody running around with this virus, we don't even know if it's papyrus or if it's a pile of... I'm not gonna say it, but it's okay. You can say it on your channel somewhere, but it doesn't matter, cause I don't care. Oh, we're gonna be stuck inside. We're gonna go for no ride. Never gonna go for a dive. Maybe a high. No, no, no. They ain't gonna lock us down. We don't wanna hear that now. We just wanna go for a ride, for a dive, for a high. Doesn't really matter now. Going back around, doing everything that we like to before the lockdown of 2020. Gotta bring it funky, funky, monkey home. Join the Fuga fam on the live. Bring back everybody got that hype. Go to Amazon, running on the projects. Gonna bring it down to the projects. Gonna bring it back now. And you know that we closed and down for the notice. And you know this, that we gotta bring back with the kitty cat treat. Now know the tiger, gonna be the T-Prada, Rick Opera and the CJ Play. Very sharp and the oh so sharp, and you gotta bring it down with no walks to the park. Ha 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 ha. Oh! Timmy fell down the well, no lassie to help because he's on lockdown. Timmy fell down the well and there's no lassie to help. He's on lockdown. Timmy fell down the well and no lassie to help. He's on lockdown. No, Timmy fell down the well. Lassie, no help cause he's on lockdown. Because Lassie's on lockdown. Because Lassie's on lockdown. Have a good night. Thank you to Susan Donahue. Period. Thank you. Karen Dixon, you are the most amazing. Thank you, Karen Dixon, Susan Donahue, Ilea, Anthony Mann, NorCal Cracks, Terry Dozier, Jam Taylor, and TV Ghost, 3 Percenters, Quantum Motorworks, and of course, Who Flung Down? Marky Sparky, the one. Ninja Nurse Happy Chick, Marky Sparky, SP111, Speak to the Rock Hopkins, Tony Smith, you, Liz Greenlee, are amazing. How long is this exit gonna be? This is getting kind of weird. Am I listening to Marv's brain? Is this what it sounds like in his head? I'm hungry, but I don't want the CV. Maybe I should get delivered CV. 'Cause that guy's going to 50,000 houses. Wouldn't he have it the most? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stalling until I can find somebody to host, which I'm not responsible for. I'm not, you know.